Today on 2+U Nevada.
It would be wonderful if we could go out and not have to pull anybody over, not have to arrest anybody for impaired driving because it's not happening. Unfortunately and realistically, we know that's not the case.
This weekend begins a very big season of festivities. The Super Bowl this weekend, Valentine's Day next weekend, and with each of these events, local law enforcement is doing its part to make sure you're safe on the roads.
We knew this was what a lot of people would really want because it's a controlled environment. We keep those lanes the way we want them. We keep the speed controlled.
This weekend is sure to be a beautiful one to go outside. If you're looking for something wild to do with the family, we take a look at Mount Rose Ski Tahoe's newest attraction, Wild Slide. Plus,
that kind of surrendering of letting her, in this case, be the one who instigates the interaction. It's, on her terms, never doing anything that might scare or hurt or change her.
An absolutely beautiful story coming from under the sea, a unique friendship caught on camera. What this young diver hopes this budding relationship can do to influence all of us to treat our oceans better. You're watching 2+U Nevada. It's home.
Put everything back in your house the way you like it.
With community and family. And this really is a family affair. It's local food.
I got garlic in mine, capers.
It's health and wellness. Plus,
we don't have these, and we could be using them.
With plenty of entertainment. 2+U Nevada, brought to you by 911 Restoration. Thank you for joining us for this edition of 2+U Nevada. I'm Sarah Johns, your host. I absolutely love that story of the diver and his new budding friendship. It's beautiful. We have some other fun stories for you today. We reintroduce you to one of our region's micro-influencers, Peanut. What this dog is doing to advocate for senior dog rescue and how you can help Peanut with a very big contest. Additionally, Valentine's Day is just a week and a day away. Coming up a little later in our show, some creative ways to find love and creative gifts for your sweetheart. We've got a great show for you today. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for joining us for 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada. Joining us this afternoon, Sergeant Chris Brown with the Nevada Highway Patrol. Chris, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're here to talk about safety, of course, throughout this weekend and beyond. But this weekend, a number of our law enforcement agencies are coming together for joining forces, namely to keep impaired drivers off the streets.
Yeah, so the event, this Joining Forces campaign kicks off today, the 6th. It's going to run through the 22nd of this month. And the focus is impaired drivers. So what Joining Forces does is it's a grant-funded operation that allows agencies across the state to bring on staff just to focus on, for this instance, impaired drivers. So troopers, officers, deputies are going to be out looking specifically for impaired drivers. Now, just because Joining Forces says, hey, we're looking at impaired driving, doesn't mean it's just impaired drivers that those officers, troopers, deputies are looking for, but it's all violations, all hazardous moving violations, but the emphasis is to try and find impaired drivers, remove them from our roadways.
Yeah, and what makes an event like Joining Forces and getting those law enforcement officers on the roads in overtime to focus on impaired driving versus what makes that more successful versus like a DUI checkpoint?
Right, so there's a lot of different things that come into law enforcement activities and how we staff the road and our shifts. Now, when we look at Joining Forces and what it allows us to do as an agency is it allows us to bring on a trooper or multiple troopers to focus specifically on that. So instead of having to respond to 911 calls or crashes, they can be released from all the other stuff that comes with a typical shift in law enforcement to focus on proactive enforcement to find or look for those violations or impaired drivers. It also allows us to work with other agencies together to saturate certain areas. So instead of maybe having a few troopers or a few deputies in one area, we can all talk together and work together like we do every day, but we can focus all those folks into an area and say, hey, we see a lot of these violations or we see a lot of impaired drivers in this area. Let's bring everybody together and focus in that area to try and change that driving behavior. And if we find an impaired driver, remove them from the roadways.
Really and truly, that is the goal too. I mean, that's why you're telling people in advance of these types of joining forces, crackdowns, or whatever, campaigns. We tell people at home, so that way then people, we know you want to go out and have fun. We know that you want to go out and go watch the big football game at a party, but just be responsible when you leave, because getting pulled over by you is going to be a heck of a lot more expensive for them than an Uber or a cab.
Absolutely. You know, when we look at these things, it would be wonderful if we could go out and not have to pull anybody over, not have to arrest anybody for impaired driving, because it's not happening. Unfortunately and realistically, we know that's not the case, but we're going to do everything that we can to not only educate drivers before the event, but let them know, hey, we're out there. So maybe they can make that choice to not get behind the wheel and focus 100% on being safe and getting to their destination safely, so that we don't have to have that encounter on the side of the road.
And what is the going rate now for like a DUI? I remember that the big campaign used to be, oh, if you get pulled over for a DUI, at minimum you're going to be spending like $10,000. You know what I mean? Like, is that still about the same?
You know, I can't speak specifically to how much you're looking at. When it comes to fine amounts, if you get a citation, an arrest, that's all set by the courts in the different jurisdictions that you're in. But I think it's important to think about, we're not just talking about finances. When you drive impaired, you're potentially taking somebody's life away if you get in a crash. So we're not worried about finances. I'm worried about hurting somebody else or hurting yourself, or potentially not even making it home at the end of the day.
Oh, such a good point. Such a good point. Okay, so again, joining forces starts today, February 6th. It's the Friday before the big game. And then it's going to be going, though, through the month of February. So people, don't be surprised, because we also, aside from the big game, we've got Valentine's Day. Talk about the worst Valentine's gift is to get pulled over and get a DUI, right? So you've got all of these and a holiday weekend in the mix. So this really is kind of a smart month to do something like this.
Yeah, you know, the Office of Traffic Safety, when they schedule the Joining Forces campaigns, they take into consideration what's going on during that month, during that time frame, to make sure that we're trying to focus the topic of the event on something that's going to be relevant during that month or during that campaign. The weather's getting nice. We, like you said, have the events, the weekends going on, but realistically, just impaired driving, it's a big deal. We talk about it all the time, and unfortunately, we have to continue talking about it all the time. I know just in this last week, during early morning hours, we've been running into impaired drivers and arresting impaired drivers, and we're talking 8 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and they're not just a little impaired, we're talking extremely impaired. So impaired driving, DUIs, it's nonstop, unfortunately. It's 24/7. There's a potential for somebody to be impaired and be behind the wheel. So we want to focus on removing those impaired drivers from the roadways. And if you're watching this, we want to make sure that you're making those smart decisions before you get behind the wheel, before you go out for the weekend, or if you're going to enjoy the game, or really just be out and about, that you're planning ahead, making sure that you have a safe and sober ride home, and that you're not making that decision to get behind the wheel.
Couldn't have said it better. Sergeant Brown, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're watching 2+ Nevada. You are watching 2 Plus U Nevada. Joining us this afternoon, Mike Pierce, the man, the myth, and the legend of Mount Rose Ski Tahoe. Thank you so much for having us out here at Mount Rose's new attraction.
Yes, welcome to Wild Slide Tahoe, our snow tubing park.
Mike, this is such a cool place, and as a parent, I am so excited to be able to get the kids out here, out tubing in what is really a safe environment. Let's go into, first and foremost, why Mount Rose decided to do the tubing attraction.
We've talked about tubing probably for 20 plus years, and it got real serious probably 3 years ago. And we'd always talked about doing it near the Mount Rose Main Lodge, and there was a big controversy with, well, that's some of our best learning terrain. And we had decided a while back that we were not going to do real estate in this area, and all of a sudden we started thinking more and more about it, and this all of a sudden became the ideal spot for us to add a snow tubing attraction.
An ideal spot too, because if you take a look at this hill, it's absolutely beautiful, it's groomed gorgeous, and you were telling me that this is mainly Mother Nature snow.
Yeah, everybody probably witnessed it or felt it. We got 5 feet of snow during Christmas, right? Yeah. We had a lean December, but then boom, we got hit. Because ordinarily we would want this open at Thanksgiving, but it wasn't cold enough to make snow at the time. Now we got 5 feet, and there were a bunch of snowmakers on here just yesterday because we can use snowmaking to augment the tubing lanes. But almost all of this is, all that man-made, all that fresh snow that we got over the Christmas.
And how many lanes do we have here?
We can, I think today we're in the neighborhood of 14. Once it's fully built out, we can go up to 22 lanes as our max.
Wow, this is super fun. Can people rent this out, or at least rent 1 or 2 lanes out for a party?
Yes, no, it's a good question. We're open Fridays through Sundays and holidays. That means Monday through Thursday, big groups, corporate buyouts, they can rent this place out.
Super cool.
Yeah. We'll do group rates for parties of 25 or more, but that doesn't give them specific lanes. It just means we'll give them reduced rates and things like that. But if, for instance, a company wanted to do an outing and they just said, hey, we want the place, we would do everything. We do food and beverage, we'd give them tickets, we do everything. And that's usually what we try to do between Mondays and Thursdays.
You know, it's such a great opportunity for people to get out and enjoy the snow. Great for families. Let's talk about the safety component too, versus maybe just taking a tube on the side of a roadway or an unknown mountain, for example.
Right. So we knew we had an audience for this because most locals, if you've ever gone playing in the snow, the Mount Rose Meadows is a fun spot. We've all done it, and every weekend it's still very, very busy. But it has a wild, uncontrolled component to it. It has a danger aspect because the highway is right there. There's a lot of traffic. We knew this was what a lot of people would really want because it's a controlled environment. We keep those lanes the way we want them. We keep the speed controlled. It's convenient. It's off the highway. We have a parking lot that's private, that's 350 of their own spaces, so you're not right on the right side of the road. Everything about it, we try to make it comfortable, safe feeling. It's still an adventure sport, but it still has a huge fun component. So yeah, everything about it, we kind of was like, all right, let's do this, but we're going to do it the right way.
And the right way exactly is the way to say it, because I personally know somebody who went sledding on Mount Rose Highway and got a brain injury because of a crash, right? What I love looking at this is that you have specific lanes, so you won't see people crashing into one another. You know, you have that safety component that I truly feel is a great solution for families looking to get out and have some snow fun. I mean, this is going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than a hospital visit, right?
I don't want to even talk about hospital visits.
Yeah, we won't even go there. But really, Wild Slide Tahoe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are prices like out here?
So it is, of the commercial tubing, the cheapest you'll probably find anywhere. Kids up to age 15 are $35, and it's a 2-hour session is how it works. Anybody that's 16 and over, it's $45 for a 2-hour session. And if you do your homework and you go around the lake, this is lift served. You don't have to hike. There are places where you can go tubing, but you got to hike. And it's like, no. We make this as easy and as convenient as possible. We have a lodge, we have restrooms, we have all the amenities they want. And again, if you have groups of 25 or more, we can do group rates depending on the day and things like that.
I love the lift because you were saying it's lift served. It's like what you see in the airport when you get your suitcase and they help you get through the hall, you know what I mean? So this lift, and next year you said the lift's gonna be covered.
Yeah, anybody that's skied at Mount Rose and you've been on our beginner lift on show-off run, it's called the Magic. It's got a dual conveyor, but it has a tunnel. This will have a tunnel next year. We just wanted to get this open this year. Getting that built for this year was going to be a problem, so we'll have it in place by next year. That's mostly operational because it keeps us from having to dig out the lift after big storms, but it's also a nice, warm, comfortable spot to go up. But for this year, you get a lovely view of the ski hill as well as get to watch all the tubers come down while you're getting ready for your turn.
I'm so excited to give this tubing a try. Oh my gosh, is there any particular lane that's faster than the other, or what do we ask folks at the top?
You can ask them just that.
Okay.
Which one's the faster one? Now, you also have the option. We have two types of tubes. You have what we call a hard bottom tube and a soft bottom tube. The soft bottom tube goes a little slower.
Oh.
So we kind of tell people, hey, if you're nervous, we'll give them the soft bottom tubes. Plus, we regulate and we gauge how fast people are going, and sometimes we'll say, no, you'll want to use the faster tube because the snow's a little slow today, or it's fast and we'll say, no, you might want to use the soft tube. We kind of give people that option. There is an upslope to slow you down. Then we'll sometimes use mats to put the brakes on even further. And then if you really want to, people love hitting the crash bags, but those are there for if sometimes, yes, it is, you are going tubing down a snow hill. Sometimes you go a little faster than you think and you might hit those bags, but
All right. Hopefully I don't hit the bags.
It's one of
this
those
old
things
bag does not need to hit a bag, Mike.
When we were doing our research, that was one of the things the guys told us. They go, yeah, people love hitting the bags. They won't drop their feet. And I'm like, okay, that's why we have them.
Mike, thank you so much for having us out this afternoon.
No, you bet.
You're watching 2+ Nevada. You are watching 2+ Nevada. Very excited to be joined by Barbara Williams this afternoon, the co-founder of Tiny Toes Foundation. Barbara, thank you so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having Tiny Toes on.
I am so excited to have you here and have people learn about this fairly new organization. First and foremost, tell people about the foundation. What do you do?
Well, we started in 2022. Began program services in October of 2022, but we help families financially when a child is diagnosed with a complex medical condition, pediatric medical emergencies, not the things you would normally expect as a parent, not your appendicitis, not your RSV, your strep throat, but these are things that just blindside families, come out of left field, things that are so rare, and I can't even begin to tell you some of the diagnoses.
Well, you were telling me that you were a nurse, so your career, you've seen a bunch of stuff. And some of these patients that you guys are helping their families, you've never even
heard of, I've never seen. But these are the things that really throw the family off trajectory. And like a lot of these kids are transferred out of the area, above and beyond renown, our wonderful children's hospital here. But a lot of these kiddos need even further specialty hospitals and are sent to Salt Lake, Las Vegas, the Bay Area, and face months, if not a year, in the hospital. And so we step in and try and help with emergent financial assistance. We help pay mortgage, rent, lights. Let's keep the roof over their head, keep their lights on. We don't provide money directly to families. They send us their invoices, and we help them we pay their bills directly for them.
And that's a great model too, because you know exactly where that funding is going.
Correct.
And it is going directly towards keeping a roof over their heads, the lights on. Since October of 2022, when you fully received your 501c3 status, how many families have you helped?
As of yesterday, we just helped our 99th family, and we have 8 more families in the queue. They've been referred, they're eligible. We've contacted them. They know about our program, and we're just waiting for them to get their invoices to us for payment.
And what I love about this too is with this model, you've got such an in with the medical community that you are getting the referrals. So these families aren't even actively seeking you out.
Right.
You're just picking up the phone and saying, hey, we're here for you.
Correct. What's really unique, and it does set us apart, is we network with the children's hospitals, obviously here in Reno, renowned, but also the children's hospitals in Salt Lake City, Oakland, UC Davis, Stanford, Las Vegas, and we actively network with their case managers and their social workers. So when they get a child and they see, oh, you're from Northern Nevada, we have a foundation that could help you, and they fill out the referral, they send it right over to us. And sometimes we're contacting the family when they've only been into this crisis for a couple of days, and we explain who we are and then give them the opportunity. We have no other application process. The only thing we require is the attestation by the healthcare worker, a simple one-page form. If the child is 18 or under, has a medically complex diagnosis, was going to require extensive hospitalization, and is from the Northern Nevada or surrounding Northeastern California rural communities. And that's our only criteria. These families are under so much stress, they don't need to fill out a long application. We don't base anything on socioeconomic status. We don't base anything on citizenship, religion, nationalities. It's just that one-page criteria form with those 4 criteria, and then we can step in and help. So,
you know, as a parent, I can't imagine what these parents feel as soon as they get this diagnosis. And then, like you said, imagine your child gets a diagnosis and then you're flown, it could be overnight, to another location, another hospital. And oh, by the way, you're going to be living here for 8 to 10 to 12 or months beyond.
Exactly. And parents lose their ability to work. They have other children that they can't be there to care for. I mean, it just evolves. And, you know, parents have your network of friends and family, but that support is limited. State and federal aid is limited. It's really long application processes and very low income thresholds. There are other nonprofits out there that help, but some of them are limited. Some are disease specific, like the Cancer Foundation, and we work very closely with the Children Cancers Foundation. The Heart Foundation is heart only. There's other foundations that help with medical expenses that aren't covered, but not with living expenses. And then there's some that require more extensive application and are somewhat based, not entirely, but a little bit based on income, citizenship, and other factors.
So you have the opportunity for community members to do monthly donations to help you out, or if they want to do a one-time donation. Either way, if somebody just wants to help
Absolutely.
Tiny Toes Foundation, where do they go?
They go to our website, which is tinytoesfoundation.org. Pretty easy, tinytoesfoundation.org. Click the Donate Now page, and we appreciate every dollar. $10, dollar per toe is a wonderful thing, and we can all afford $10 a month. And these families, like I said, they are in crisis, and we've already helped all these families, like I said, with the 99 plus 8 pending. But right now, it's the families that are going to come to us next year, and they don't even know. And that's what almost breaks my heart is, it's the parents that are expecting a baby. It's the parents with a toddler, a school-age child, a teenage child. That's 35 plus families next year are going to have their lives disrupted when they're told there's something wrong, and it's not good. It's not just the babies we take care of. It's 10-month-old, 3-year-old, 9-year-olds, 15-year-olds that were healthy, and now they're not. I mean, these are really serious illnesses. The statistics are staggering.
Barbara, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're watching 2+U Nevada.
Thank you very much.
You are watching 2+U Nevada. So excited to have Kristen Savini joining us this afternoon with our very special guest, Peanut.
Hi.
Kristen, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having us.
And so the last time you were here, you were actually here in a different capacity, and we learned about Peanut.
Yes.
Your famous pup. So Peanut, everyone, is a micro influencer. He's an influencer on Instagram.
Correct.
And talk to me about, I find it so interesting. You were telling me how his Instagram got started.
Yeah, so I adopted Peanut 6 years ago, and about 4.5 years ago, everybody, the number one question is, what kind of dog is that? So they're like, you should start an Instagram. So we did, but we did it kind of a fun way. We did it as a fundraiser for homeless animals, so people could donate to guests, and then there was a prize pack. So that's kind of how his Instagram took off.
He's
and
so
kind
perfect.
of, isn't he? And it just kind of really framed what our mission is with our Instagram, is to fundraise and advocate for homeless animals.
You know, and the homeless animal component behind Peanut's story is so beautiful, because we have 2 adopted dogs at home, you know, and Peanut is adopted. And it's so important to adopt these pets that otherwise would, you know, not have a good outcome, right?
Absolutely.
And he's a beautiful boy, and now he's famous. So what kind of mutt is he, did we find out?
So he's a mix of 12 different breeds. A lot of people think he's a Frenchie Corgi. Some people think Shar-Pei. Some people think a Little Pitty, but he's none of those. So his top breeds are Chihuahua, Weenie Dog, Shih Tzu, Samoyed, Pekingese, thanks honey, and Pomeranian. So he is 3% Chow Chow, which I think comes through in his little face, but he's
His face.
Yeah.
I love his face. You're just perfect.
Thank
And
you.
his little crooked tongue, like how it hangs out the side.
He's toothless, so it just pops out.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, so
Yeah.
perfect. So your current initiative with Peanut, though, is to get him a ton of votes and
Yes.
explain what this contest is.
Absolutely.
And why we're doing it.
So Peanut is part of the inaugural Pet Lovers Choice Awards. It's with the same people who did the Teen and People's Choice Awards that we all are familiar with. But what really drew us to this was the fact that it helps homeless animals. So while people can vote daily until March 26th for free, if you do paid votes, 51% of your donation goes to Best Friends Animal Society to help homeless animals. And then if Peanut wins, winners get $10,000, which we would donate to a variety of homeless animal nonprofits, and those in our community, including Boxers and Buddies, who we're currently fostering with.
And that's huge too, because Boxers and Buddies, you say you're fostering an animal. So
Yes.
Peanut isn't the only animal that you've rescued. Why is rescue so important to you and your loved ones?
It's truly life-saving, and I literally mean that. Whether you foster and you take a dog into your home, you're saving that dog from potential other outcomes. The animal welfare crisis across the United States right now is very dire, and it's very sad. So places like Boxers and Buddies, rescues here locally, are working very hard to save animals, but they can't do that without fosters and donors and adopters. So it's just something that we've become really passionate about, and you can see the kind of amazing dogs that you can get who need a second chance.
And you're a perfect spokesperson for this too. Talk about how people at home can get involved in advocating for homeless pets.
Absolutely. There's numerous ways, whether adopting, volunteering, donating. An easy thing, share on social media. It literally takes 2 seconds to hit the share button. We've had friends on Instagram that have found their homes dog friends because somebody shared. If you're a photographer, if you're an artist, there you can go volunteer to take pictures of these animals. You can do artwork of them for fundraisers. If you're a local business, you can do a roundup, you can do a fundraiser. I mean, the possibilities are truly endless.
They really are. And I fully believe that adopted dogs, rescued or rescued pets of any kind, they know.
Oh, I
they're
100%
rescued.
believe that. Yes.
Yes. And they've got this total dedication to the family that rescues them.
Yeah. We always, I rescued my first dog in 2014, a senior dog named Petey. And ever since, I kind of gravitated towards the senior dogs because they're overlooked. But my goodness, the joy they bring to your life And I just think they know that you have given them a second chance, and they provide you with companionship and love and laughs. And adopt.
And he is just a perfect spokes dog for that. And he's so adorable. Do you know how old he is?
He just turned 12 years old on December 29th, which was also his 6th adoptiversary of when I adopted him.
So he was older too when you adopted him.
Correct. He was 6. Yes, he was 6 years old. So he was a medical surrender. He had some severe dental disease going on and was very skinny. So he made a full recovery, and he's just a wonderful boy.
You say that too, and it just speaks to why we are seeing more dogs needing fostering and needing adopting. Is Peanut himself was a medical surrender.
Yes.
And that's just heartbreaking, because we know how important pets are in the home and how loved pets are, and what it must just take to have to surrender your pet because you can't afford the help that they need.
Absolutely. And that is leading to a lot of the current animal welfare crisis now. And it's just heartbreaking, and owners make the really difficult decision to say, I can't give this dog what he needs. And so they surrender. Same thing with spay and neuter, so important, which is why there's so many litters of puppies. So there's a lot to be worked on in the animal welfare space, and we're grateful to play a small part in helping all those that are working so hard to save these animals.
Well, Peanut, how do we vote for you? How do we get you to be number one?
Thank you. So if you go to Pet Lovers Choice Awards, or also on Peanut's Instagram, Nutter Butter Rescue Pupper, the link in his bio, you just hit vote, and you go down to micro influencer, and you can search for his name. And like I said, it's daily, once every 24 hours, free vote, and those votes really add up all the way through March 26th.
Thank you so much for what you do, for advocating for pet rescue, for what you do, Peanut. You're just handsome with that little face. My gosh. Be sure to vote for Peanut. Let's get him the win. We know that Reno and the Truckee Meadows and Washoe County, Northern Nevada will rally around and get you over that hump. Huh, buddy?
Say thank you so much, everybody.
You're watching 2+U Nevada. Now to a stunning story from under the sea. A white seal has formed a special bond with a Southern California diver. The two have become constant companions in the kelp forests off Laguna Beach. This is not a story from SeaWorld or some aquarium. It is about the bond between a creature in the wild and a young man. Nicole Comstock has their story.
It's a majestic stretch of Southern California coastline here in Laguna Beach. But Rusty Hunter has proof that the most magical views are hidden under the water.
I felt one of her hands, kind of just touching me and grabbing my head, and she really started to kind of latch onto me.
Hunter has been documenting his dives for a few years, but it wasn't until recently that he started seeing the same little white seal swimming around him.
You would think that a seal would have more important things to do. I can't help but to think it was some, level of curiosity and maybe, craving a little bit of attention.
At first, he says her approach was timid, but over time, after she apparently tested the waters with him enough, she became rather comfortable coming right up to him. Again and again, on nearly a dozen different dives, sometimes even playing with his flippers, greeting him like a dog.
A lot of people do, calling them water pups or the dogs of the ocean.
Hunter says he doesn't take the ethereal encounters lightly because he has a deep respect for the ocean, one that he feels this seal can sense.
That kind of surrendering of letting her, in this case, be the one who instigates the interaction. It's, on her terms, never doing anything that might scare or hurt or change her, behavior long term.
And Hunter is sharing these videos online through his Instagram account so that other people out there can get a glimpse into this special connection he has with the sea.
At the end of the day, these are wild animals, and we need to treat it as a high privilege that we're even getting these experiences to begin with.
He's also hoping it will remind people to take care of our beaches and not leave behind trash that often ends up in the water where these guys live.
It is a beautiful, awesome experience, and I appreciate it and treasure it so much.
Reporting in Laguna Beach, Nicole Comstock, CBS LA.
For the first time in nearly 25 years, elephant care staff at the Smithsonian's National Zoo are celebrating the birth of an Asian elephant, an endangered species. The female calf was born earlier this month. Asian elephant pregnancies last, get this, 18 to 22 months. This baby was a bun in the oven for 21 months. This bright-eyed baby tipped the scales at 308 pounds and measures 38.5 inches tall.
It means so much. We're kind of iconic with our elephant herd. We do so much work for Asian elephant conservation, and we haven't welcomed a new elephant calf here for more than 2 decades. So her being here means a lot to us as the zoo. It means a lot to the community, and also to Asian elephants in general.
The baby doesn't yet have a name. In fact, you can vote for your favorite name by making a donation of $5 or more on the zoo's website. $1 equals 1 vote. The polls close next Friday morning. By the way, the zoo will share updates, photos, and videos of the baby through its website and social media channels. Stay with us. We'll be right back with some unique Valentine's ideas. A photographer in North Dakota is trying to help perfect strangers find friendship and perhaps even love. This modern-day Cupid is taking photos of strangers and getting their reactions when they meet after first being blindfolded. Jody Kurzman spoke with the photographer and a couple that tried out the experience.
Hold hands.
This is the first time
There we go.
Brianna Hauk
It's all good.
and Evan Izzy have met. Photos capture the unforgettable moment. They both signed up for one of Brooklyn Earhart's stranger sessions.
They fill out this form, and I take what everybody explains about themselves and what they look for in another person, kind of match them up that way. Act like you've known each other for more than 5 minutes.
Both Evan and Brianna admit they were a little nervous
Perfect.
to take the blindfolds off.
I didn't know what they looked like. I didn't know what was going to happen or what I was walking into, really.
Yeah, just a touch nervous, but it's a fun experience. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
Brooklyn says she's got some butterflies too.
perfect.
This is her first time playing Cupid.
Perfect. This is all new for me.
For Brooklyn, it challenges her photography skills and it helps her meet new people.
Just the smiles, the fun that comes out of it. I mean, whether or not you go on a date afterwards, or maybe this is just a new friend. I mean, it's so fun to interact with people. Right, and then both look at me.
Brooklyn has photographed 5 couples so far. 3 of those 5 have gone on dates after their stranger session. Brooklyn says she doesn't have any expectations, but she says she is invested in every couple's story.
This does turn into something, I'm here for engagement photos or wedding photos or whatever.
That's a love story, Brooklyn says, would be nothing short of picture perfect.
If you're Cupid curious, Earhart has photos from her stranger sessions on her website, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Meanwhile, Wendy's is leaning into the singles life. Wendy's announced a single for a single, which consists of a $1 Dave's Single Burger on Singles Awareness Day, which is officially February 15th. But I mean, let's be honest, Singles Awareness Day is obviously Valentine's Day. The offer is exclusive to in-app and is only available with a qualifying purchase. The company said the promotion was to forget the drama and the ghosting, saying Dave's single has been reliable since 1969. And no, you do not need to be single to take advantage of this deal. And if your sweetheart isn't into flowers, Einstein Brothers Bagels has your solution. Introducing their bouquets. Einstein Bros say this bouquet is designed to celebrate everyone. According to Einstein Bros, the idea for the bagel bouquet stemmed from research commissioned by Interflora, which revealed 88% of men have never received flowers as a gift. Einstein Bros has created a step-by-step tutorial on how to DIY this gift. You can start pre-ordering heart-shaped bagels by the baker's dozen starting Monday. Individual heart-shaped bagels will be available for purchase 1 week from today and on Valentine's Day, of course, while supplies last. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Are you a business or nonprofit and want to be featured on 2+U Nevada? Have a Mom to Mom Monday, a Tried It Tuesday, or even a cute pic you just want to show us? The whole point of 2+U Nevada is the plus you. You can send us your content by visiting our website. Head to 2news.com and click on 2+U Nevada, or you can email us at 2+UNevada@ktvn.com. Just when you thought cereal for breakfast had too much sugar, get this. Tomorrow is officially Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Ice cream in the middle of winter isn't always an easy sell, although our weather doesn't make it unrealistic at all. Ice cream shops have a rare chance to get a big crowd because the first Saturday of February marks National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Creative businesses are integrating the trend into traditional breakfast foods and coming up with some pretty kooky concoctions. The beauty of the holiday is if you don't live near an ice cream shop, don't worry, celebrating it is easy enough to do yourself at home. That's it for this edition of 2+U Nevada. Thank you for inviting us into your home this afternoon. We look forward to joining you every weekday at 3 for 2+U Nevada. 2 News Nevada at 4 starts now.